Welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast. Back at it again. Just doing what we do. Our fantasy season is over. Me and the Craft Man, we recording watching the Colts and the Texans. So it's week 18. So fantasy football season is over for most of us. Craft Man, you in any week 18 leagues? You got any of them going on?
That shit is a joke, man. My brother texted me earlier today. I'm going to tell you what he said. He said, dude, I had to totally rebuild my Lowe's team. McCaffrey out, Ayuk, Williams, Jacobs, Likely, put in Singletary, Zeke, Khalil Herbert, and Darren Waller. This is why we don't play week 18.
Yeah, like there'll be a little discussion on Twitter and they'll be like, this is wrong. This is incorrect. You don't play at week 18. I'll see some people like that. I'm not gonna be like that. I ain't gonna be like, oh man, this is incorrect. You're playing at week 18, but I wouldn't do it. I'm just being real. All these motherfuckers are resting and shit. Like I don't know. Like it's just best to. There's some leagues that even end a week before week 17. I've seen leagues that end on like week 16 and shit like that. But I know people just love fantasy. Yeah. They're addicted to that shit. So
I'd rather do the week 16 than week 18. For sure.
That's right.
A week early rather than a week late.
18. And think about in week 18 how nasty you got to get on some of your rosters, man. You got to get super nasty on some of that shit.
Starting Tyler Huntley and shit.
So here we are, man. Cruise Dynasty podcast. We kind of slowed it down towards the back. I ain't gonna say the back half of the year, but the back last 3 or 4 weeks. Me and Craft Man slowed it down a little bit, focusing on our own leagues, trying to make some money. I was the champ in the home league. Craft Man went and got him a ring in shoot. It's my top redraft league. It's not your top redraft league, but you got the champion in Average Joe's. Shoot, I'll go ahead and shout out old JD Fluxfield out there. If you happen to ever listen to the podcast, first year in Dynasty, ain't that right, Kraft? The first year in Dynasty, went out there.
Yep.
Got him a nice little payout. So champions are being crowned.
Built him an outdoor fire pit with the money that we sent. Sent me a picture. He was like, "Yeah."
Dang,
I'm sure didn't pay for the whole thing, but it helped.
Fluxfield,
he gets that trophy too.
Got the trophy, and then the toilet sheet. Gonna get shipped out to one of my homies. I was thinking about putting this in the group chat. Old Fluxfield bought the trophy, right? Ordered the trophy. He's gonna keep it. Taking a bunch of dumps on that toilet seat. He's about to ship it out. You got the toilet seat?
He sent out both of them. I mean, he gave both of them to me so I can distribute it. So he could have just skipped a step and just held on to it.
Right.
But it wouldn't feel as good, though. It's kind of like he missed it for a little while, and, now he gets it back.
So, me and Craft Man, this is why I bring up that we won championships. It ain't to brag, but it's like, I listen to a lot of these podcasts, and, they're winning championships, but they're in like 35 leagues and shit. Some motherfuckers in 40 leagues out there, and I'm just saying, me and Kraft, we just got a select few leagues, and like when we say we're doing these moves and these moves, like we mean it, like because we want to win the leagues that we're in. I'm not into some random leagues with some random motherfuckers out there making moves, like making trades that I wouldn't make in leagues that I care about. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's some people out there like, I'll make this trade. I'm trade this good player for this plus, but I'm just like, well, would you do that in your home league, motherfucker? That's the question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
So
it's like that randos league. I made the dumbest trade possible, and I was like, I'm just gonna see where it goes. I just want to see. And but shout out to really just everybody that been on the podcast, like with the crew, because Ian got him a championship. He's been on the pod a couple times. Noah got him a championship, and I just felt like we did pretty good this year. Next year might be a different story, but this year wasn't bad at all.
See, Swizzy, he went to the
championship
went to the championship. He took L's in this one, but in the home league that I just won this year, he was a champion in that. So we're talking about, Chris gets called a bonehead a lot in our league, but motherfuckers playing for rings. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Exactly.
like, yeah, we're just some little transparency out there. Like we ain't the type that's going out there in 50 leagues or whatever, and then we bring home 2 champions, and then we're talking like, oh well, I'm a champ. Like I'm not gonna be like that. Like this is the honest truth, Kraft. If I did not win the home league and I had championships in these other leagues, even in average Joe's and shit, I still wouldn't be up in here talking like I'm a champion, man. I gotta get that home league champ, and I was super happy to get that shit. So
Yeah.
I've been
I got
talking
4
shit.
leagues. 4 leagues. That's it. 2 redraft, 2 dynasty. And the rando, I can say 5 when you say randos league, but I don't pay that one any attention.
Couldn't give a hoot about
Unfortunately,
that.
it ain't because I just didn't like it. It's just when other people don't put lineups in, it doesn't make you want to, really try your best.
Shout out to me because I didn't set a lineup not one motherfucking time in that league. I was like, I'm gonna be honest, Kravitz, and listen. I'll go ahead and say another thing. When you play in a league for like $25, I don't know if I could give a hoot about a league for $25. Like my home league, the
It has to
buyout,
have history too. If it
yeah,
does, it
like
has to have like history. If something that's
look,
been going on for a long time, where pride is more important.
right, and that's what the deal is with my home league. Like our buy-in is low in the home league; it's only like $40. But that league could be for free, and that would be my most important league. You know what I mean? Like I could care less about the
Hell
money.
yeah,
Like give me the motherfucking trophy. But in other leagues, like in Doo Dynasty, like let's go, man! I'm ready to win some motherfucking money. Like
yeah.
I can't wait. I want to play in a league that has some big buy-ins. Like I know I want to ask my man to kill the line. He's been on the pod a few times. Been a little while. Gonna have to get him on, but he said he's in a couple high stakes redraft leagues. So I wonder what that means. I wonder how much money that is. So.
Probably about 100. I mean, I don't know. It could be more than that, but yeah. Hopefully, we can up it a little bit. I always try to start at a pretty decent level and then just
Right.
slowly creep up. But thing about that is you just gotta. If one person don't agree to it, you gotta keep it where it's at because that's just respect to people. Can't be raising the buy-in and making people upset.
Right.
Well, because not
Yeah.
not a lot of people are gambling addicts like us.
Me.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. That is the truth. Like, you got to be respectful to your people in your home leagues, because heck, you know how it is, man. I'm
our
conservative.
world which we live in.
Yeah, we look at this motherfucking economy we rolling in. Like, motherfuckers don't want to throw $100 on some fake football. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do. I want to do that shit, but
I try to break it down to people. I'm like, man, we play fantasy for 5 months. That's what, like $20 a month. That ain't nothing. You spend more than that on your Netflix subscription. Just cancel Netflix and play more leagues.
that is true. It is funny. I'm gonna remember that little argument. Hey, it's $20 a month, man. you can get on a payment plan.
Exactly.
But tonight we just going to recap it a little bit and talk about some of these leaders, what we're seeing, and what we saw this year. Because I was just looking at some of these leaders and couldn't believe what the fuck I was seeing. And I was like, dang, he had that good a year, and this guy did that. So me and Kraft just gonna do what we always do. It's off the dome. We gonna say what we gotta say. We looking at these leaders, and this is just the truth about all what went down this year. So, Craftman, anything you want to say real quick before we dive in?
Yeah, I do want to. Before we get started, I want to try to say what was your biggest L that you're going to take? Looking back on the year, what was your worst take? What was your worst take on the year? What do you think your best take was?
I know for a fact my worst take of the year was Miles Sanders. There's no doubt about that shit. That I ain't ever had. I'm gonna be real. That might be the worst take I've had in my life. Is Miles Sanders. I'll put that up there
Yeah.
with your little Amari Cooper shouldn't be rostered. That's up there in that.
I don't know because I think the industry was all in on Miles Sanders. That
Yeah.
Amari Cooper thing, and Amari Cooper did it again to me this year. Like when what's his face got hurt, Deshaun went out. I was like, sell this guy
Yep.
right now, and then he ends up winning people, maybe championships. Definitely the week before the championship with that 51 points. He sat out the championship though, so freaking bum.
Yeah.
If you didn't roster him, he might have been better off in the championship.
Right. So that was definitely a bad take. That me, I was debating with you and old Slim Easy about Joe Mixon. I definitely took the L on that one because Joe Mixon. We'll talk about him later. He's like the RB7. Those are the main. Ramondre Stevenson, bad take. Bad take.
He was injured.
Hurt. Yep. So those are like my main bad. It's mainly running backs is what I think of the most. It's just so hard to do them running backs. What about you, Kraft man? Worst takes?
Believing in Alexander Madison was one, and Isaiah Pacheco. I didn't have him ranked in my top 24 to start the year, and I'm gonna live and learn by that one. I done told everybody like just believe in talents. We talk about draft capital and stuff a lot, and it does matter. But when it comes to like a good offensive mind like Andy Reid or Sean McVay with Kyron Williams, stuff like that, they're going to put the best player out on the field, and stuff like that don't matter. If Pacheco was playing with a dumb franchise like the Panthers or something, maybe that take would have been right. But you gotta account for the offensive scheme and like the offensive minds calling the plays, and just the talent in general. He's a lot better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so I should have never thought Clyde would have played any sort of role this year just based on him being a first-round pick.
Yeah, heck yeah, I was saying it too. I was saying there was going to be a stretch of time where Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to have some impact at some point. Yeah, I feel like he had an opportunity right at the end. Pacheco, he missed a few games, but Pacheco had a good year, no doubt. What about your best take, though, Crab Man? What was some of the wins, some of the W's you could claim? You ain't got none, or?
Yeah, I mean, the wide receivers, I feel like we were pretty dead on about. So, but I think everybody was. Wide receivers were really consistent from where you drafted them at. I mean, there was a couple guys that kind of snuck up in like the top 10, but receivers, everything was good. Running backs was tough though, and I mean, I really disliked Deshaun Watson if I could brag on that, but he was injured, so
yeah, I think.
But we hit on some stuff, but
yeah, we definitely hit on a few things. Hey, you win some, you lose some, and we're gonna definitely hold our L's. I think
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon was a win.
That was my win. I'll say that was my win, I guess.
And I think mine might be Rachaad White. Although he did do better than even what I thought. I mean, Rachaad White was like a running back 6. I mean, I got him in. Heck, I had him at CMC this year, pretty much carrying me in redraft.
Yeah.
So I think those were my main ones that I could think of. I'm sure. And real quick, me and you, we did the crew versus Twitter. We're gonna do a few of those this past year. I would say we were right about Calvin Ridley.
Yeah,
I will say this: we were right, but in my opinion, I was kind of wrong too because I didn't think Ridley was going to be that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think he was going to be because shout out to the guy we called out on Twitter, Peter Cardinale. He was talking about top 12 guaranteed, top 5 upside. That shit wasn't even close. So took a win on that. George Pickens. No, our George Pickens takes
about the same. I feel like that was kind of a neutral thing. He disappointed, but he's a little bit of a better Gabe Davis at this point.
Right.
I think he's talented. He's got attitude issues a little bit, but quarterback play, man, the Steelers' offense wasn't.
Yeah.
You can't believe all this preseason hype all the time. Can't get dragged into that shit because they were like, the Steelers were like, oh my God, they're going to be the best offense in the league in the preseason.
Yeah. And the last take we did, Anthony Richardson, we had a lot of things to say about him. I personally, I think for the season, we get the win. But me personally, as far as Anthony Richardson, I feel like I was wrong about Anthony Richardson. I feel like he's a pretty fucking good quarterback. He looked pretty good and had some good moments. So we'll see how his career. Yeah.
Verdict's still out on that one.
So
I hope he does good, though. I hope I am wrong because I did enjoy. It's just good for fantasy anyway, if he is good. Right. So hope I'm wrong.
So that's right there. That's what me and Kraft brought, that's what we brought to the table. You win some, you lose some. So let's just hop right into these legions. And we'll start off with the quarterbacks. I'll just name them off real quick, Kraft. I'll name off at least like the first 6 or whatever. We'll do the top 12 from each of them, and maybe talk about somebody maybe who disappointed or some shit. But number 1, Josh Allen. Number 2, Jalen Hurts. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. 4, Dak Prescott. 5, your boy Jordan Love. 6, Brock Purdy. So a couple names in there you probably wouldn't expect them to see, but we'll just start off with Josh Allen at the top. If we did a dynasty ranking today, I would say he's number 1. I think Josh Allen is the man. I mean, his fantasy finishes the past few years are like 1-2 and 1-1 or 1-1 and 2-1, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
They got it rolling up there in Buffalo. I do think Buffalo's kind of switching things up a little bit, maybe getting more into the run a little bit, stuff like that, as far as just their team wise. But Josh Allen, the man, number 1. I think I actually had him ranked below Patrick Mahomes coming into the year. I think I'm just done with that. I think Patrick Mahomes is great, but I think as far as fantasy wise goes, Josh Allen, number 1.
Yeah, I think with Mahomes it's a little bit of a buy low type thing right now because it's just gonna be one of them years. I mean, even Tom Brady had them years where he finishes like number 2 and then number 7, number 8, number 12, and then back to number 1 and 2. It's just pocket passers. They do that kind of stuff, and the receiving core will get better. There's no way it doesn't get better. So I wouldn't care if somebody still had him at number 1 in Dynasty because the things are looking up. He'll be fine. And Allen, Josh Allen, it's hard to argue 4 years straight of being pretty much the number 1 quarterback in fantasy.
So there's really not too much to say. I mean, he had 369 points. Next, at 356 points, number 2 was Jalen Hurts. I think me and you had talked about it before. Personally, Jalen Hurts to me really didn't look too good this year at times. But that tush push, that for some reason the Eagles are always down on the 1 somehow. I don't know how that shit fucking happens.
Like the Lions last year.
Yeah, exactly. And Jamal Williams getting all them touchdowns and stuff. I mean,
what happens though with Hurts if he doesn't have? I think he's at like 15 rushing touchdowns on the year.
Yeah, 15.
What happens if that goes down to 8 or 9, and they don't fall on the 1 every time? Is he? I'm just asking. Like, would you sell Jalen Hurts right now, or what's your plan with Hurts?
I'd probably just hold Jalen Hurts and ride him out a little bit. I mean, he didn't look good at times, but I mean, look at what we're looking at here is like fantasy points. Like, we're talking about weeks of like 25, 19, 24, 27, 23, 27, 25, 34. We're talking about all yeah. So it's like I would hold personally. I mean, what are you gonna do? You could maybe down tiers. If you wanted to get one of them guys, like I don't know. If you wanted to down, like I don't know.
Would you sell him for like if you were to trade Jalen Hurts? Would you sell him for Herbert and Jordan Love in Dynasty?
I think Herbert
get 2 QBs in a super flex.
Yeah.
Would you do something like that?
You must be talking about thinking about sending a trade old P. Miller out there. I don't know. It's tough for me. I don't know. I feel like if Jordan Love's going to be doing what he did this year, I mean, he got a top 5 finish this year. I think I would hold on to Jordan Love and Herbert because I'm not as down on Herbert as you and maybe some other people because I just think he's just been. I don't know, man. I just look at the Chargers and think that dude's he's just the tractor and he's pulling a shit show through. I don't know. Like, I look at Herbert and I'm just like, I don't know if I can sit here and blame everything on him. He's kind of in a shit show in the Chargers. And he's got old guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. QJ is obviously looking like a bust right now.
But what do they do is the thing. I mean, I've heard on a different podcast, like Keenan's still under contract. Mike Williams still under contract.
Yeah,
they have 1 first-round pick, which is somewhere in the middle, and they have a lot of holes to fill. Like, are they going to draft another receiver, or is Quentin Johnson? They just going to wait for him? I just don't see like a whole lot of help coming, and they're I think I heard they were like 30th out of 32 teams in salary cap. So they're in salary cap hell too. It's not like they can bring in a Stephon Diggs or something or nothing or something like that in the offseason to T. Higgins and help Herbert out.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough situation. I don't know, man.
I hope Bowers goes there. That's
Yeah,
my favorite landing spot for Bowers if that happens.
Heck, I just was talking to a kill today, and he said he saw rumors that Brock Bowers was headed to. He might go to the Chargers or something like that. I listen to that crap, man. I'm gonna go ahead and say this now, as a Falcons fan. I
They
laugh at
better
all
not.
our draft picks, but I swear I call them all the time. I call it every year. I'm like, this is just what the Falcons do. Now I don't think we're gonna do it this time, but I'm gonna be honest. I would not be shocked if we went out there and got motherfucking Brock Bowers and him and Kyle Pitts was out there blocking all year. Like I would not be shocked at all. Like maybe
They
a lot of
can't do
people
no
would.
stupid shit like that now.
I don't know, man. We're the Falcons, bro.
Um,
But yeah, so Jalen Hurts, I don't know. Is it now a sell high type moment? Is sell high type moment for you, Craft Man?
I think it's somewhere. It's somewhere in
Depending
between.
on
Like you can definitely hold. There's nothing wrong with holding. I don't think he's going downhill or nothing like that. Where he's going to finish as like the QB 10 or nothing like next year. I just think maybe you can't. Maybe he is at his highest peak. He's not at his definitely not at his lowest peak. He's if you're going to sell him, it's a good time to do it.
yeah.
If you wanted to.
Number 3 on the year, who I think is going to win the MVP this year. It seems like he's got it locked up. Old Lamar Jackson. I mean, just think about this, Craft Man. Lamar Jackson was actually out on the market. All you had to do is toss a couple first round picks, and you could have got Lamar Jackson last year. Think about that shit. And here
Plus
he
the
is.
big contract, but still.
I would have took it on if I was. I mean, what are the Falcons doing, bro? Could have had Lamar Jackson, man. Sheesh. But yeah, Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson, number 3, 331 fantasy points. He had a good year. Might be a sell high moment for Lamar Jackson, honestly, Craft Man. Um, he's tough. I feel like he's a little inconsistent at times, but with that said, he was the quarterback 3. Like I'm looking at some. I'm
He
looking
had
at
some
some
bad
man.
weeks.
He's got some bad weeks. Like week 1, he had 6 points. Then he's got a few good ones. Then he goes to Pittsburgh. He's got a 9-point week. And then he has a string of some bad weeks. Not as consistent as like a Jalen Hurts.
The end of the year was just incredible. 27, he had a 16-point week, but then after the bye in week 13, he had 37, 20, 26, 46.
Yeah.
And
Which is
that was when they
insane.
were playing to keep up. I think the only reason he had some down weeks because their defense was so good for most of the year.
Yeah. And running the ball a lot too at times. Like, hey, it was just a good ass year if you had Lamar Jackson. I mean, you might have been a little frustrated in the middle, but you stayed true, and which you most likely did if you have Lamar Jackson. Um, you're killing it at the year, and he's winning your fantasy leagues and shit. Did that for old Fluxfield. He had old
Yeah.
Lamar, so he's winning your leagues and shit. So, uh, anything else you want to say about Lamar, real quick?
No. I mean, we
Next,
hit on everything. You can sell them if you want, but I just hold.
same. I'm with you. Old Dak Prescott, quarterback number 4 this year. I mean, him and CD had it going on, and I'm gonna be honest, Kraft. If I had Dak, I know this probably looks like a perfect sell high moment, but if I had Dak, I think I'd hold it and run it back again next year with him and CD. I think they about to sling it and sling it and sling it from here on out. They can't even fucking run the ball. So
Much respect to Mike McCarthy, man. I was dogging his ass.
yeah,
Thought Aaron Rodgers carried his ass all the way through Green Bay, and he goes to Dallas, and Dak and CD look like Rodgers and Devontae Adams.
yeah,
He knows how to get his main receiver the ball,
yeah.
and and everybody thought it was so dumb getting rid of Kellen Moore, and he went to the Chargers, and see how that panned out.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike McCarthy for real. So I think Dak's in a prime position. I would just hold on to Dak and keep on running it back. I've never been the biggest Dak guy, but here I am tooting his horn a little bit. I think you need to put a little. Well, heck, maybe not you. You've been higher on Dak than I've been, but I got to put a little respect on Dak's name, and I think it's
You had him under Deshaun Watson
had
with
him
your
under
ass,
Deshaun
man.
Watson with my biased ass, man. What the fuck?
He was hard to rank at the beginning of the year. I just remember thinking, I think I had him at like number 9. He was in the top 10 or something. But he was hard to rank because I could have just seen just bad things happen with this
Yeah.
offense. I thought they were going to be real run heavy. That wasn't the case.
Dak was definitely the pick in redraft to go get. I mean, you was getting him in the 10th round
Yeah.
for real because you could get Deshaun Watson in the 9th, and you was getting Dak. Well, I say that, but I was saying in best ball, you was definitely getting Dak in the 10th round in best ball. I can't remember specifically in redraft. It might have went up a little
Yeah.
bit in redraft
It
in
was
the 8th.
about
I
like
don't.
that because I remember
So
Tua was like in the
yeah,
eighth or something like that, and he was around that range. So maybe a little lower than Tua. So he probably was, well, he definitely was, unless we're talking Jordan Love, the
yep.
best, or Brock Purdy, probably the best quarterback to draft in your redraft leagues.
And so next we got your boy Jordan Love with the Packers. Gonna be
Crazy.
he had a good year this year, and I like but the Packers are going. I was saying to you on the phone one day that I wouldn't mind having any of these um, wide receivers for Green Bay. Honestly, I feel like they're just got something. They're building something. They're all young. Like me and you was high on Romeo Dobbs and stuff like that, but he might not be like like upper echelon type player, but he's a solid player. And then we got old Jaden Reed, who looks like he could be
He's the
the
best.
guy.
For
He's
sure.
the best, and I agree. He's definitely the best. So, even me and you talking about Christian Watson, like he's got that explosive ability, and you can get him for real cheap. I would not mind having any of them guys on my roster, especially because I just feel like Jordan Love. I say it all the time. It's repetition, reps, reps. Jordan Love just got a whole season of reps, and they're going. What is this? His 5th year, so Green Bay, they're sitting in a good situation no matter what. Because if Jordan Love doesn't pan out, they can go do something else. But I think it's going to pan out. And I think Jordan Love is going to be here to stay with a stable franchise for 10+ years, really.
Yeah, he's good, and it just depends on what week we're talking about, Jordan Love, because I've seen him look like the worst quarterback in the NFL some weeks that can't hit any passes, like when we played the Giants, and then like last week, he's just picking apart the Vikings defense. So, I mean, my personal opinion would be to sell high on Jordan Love, but I wouldn't do it because I'm a Packers fan. I would want the Packers quarterback on my team, but from that
Yeah.
perspective, I would sell Jordan Love, and like I would rather have Brock Purdy than Jordan Love if it
Yeah.
was me.
So Brock Purdy, we got him here at 6, and he's surrounded by all these weapons in San Fran. He just slightly below 300 points at 295 points on a year. Brock Purdy was uh I mean, I just think Brock Purdy's good. Like I like Brock Purdy. I think he's solid. He's gonna get you 2 touchdowns every week, and he's got all these weapons. Um, San Fran's it's just a well-oiled machine out there in San Fran, and Brock Purdy is there. He's gonna succeed up there. Um, so I mean, there's nothing for me to even say about Brock Purdy. Really, he's just good. That's what I think.
And there's no way he gets replaced, right?
No,
No way.
no, it would be
Not even
impossible.
like not even a couple years down the road, right?
Not in my
I just
opinion.
don't
I
see
think
him
he's here.
failing with the players they got. I just can't see him failing.
Yeah. So, 7 through 12 right here. Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Tua Tagovailoa, Russell Wilson, and rookie CJ Stroud. Patrick
Missing a couple
Mahomes,
games.
who's that? CJ
Stroud.
Stroud?
Yeah.
Yep. So, and Russell Wilson's up here and didn't even play in the last, 2 or 3 ball games or something.
Yeah.
So Patrick Mahomes, a little down year for him, and Patrick Mahomes is great, but he just, I think Travis Kelsey sold his soul and he kind of declined a little bit. And Mr. Pfizer over here,
Yeah.
but you know, I'm just kidding about all that. But I do think he might have taken a step back a little bit, or they was just really zoning in on Travis Kelsey this year. But to me, I think he kind of took a step down this year. I'm just being honest. It happens to everybody. A lot of people are saying Travis Kelsey might retire. I doubt it, but we'll see. But Patrick Mahomes, I just wish I think they might have hit with Rashi Rice. Uh, but they need to add a little bit to that. Like those passes that MVS and Kadarius Toney and all them are dropping, like that shit is unreal bad.
You got to do something. They're gonna have to bring in somebody, and they will. They'll either draft another receiver or they're gonna pick up somebody in free agency, no doubt. And Mahomes is gonna be just fine. I ain't worried about
Agreed.
Mahomes in the slice. The only way Travis Kelce retires is if they win a Super Bowl this year. So if you're a Travis Kelce owner in Dynasty, probably cheer against Chiefs because he'll probably ride off into the sunset if they win another one.
Agreed. We got Jared Goff at 8. It's so crazy about Jared Goff because Jared Goff has some great games, but then I watch him sometimes and I just think, good God, man, you
Terrible.
are so bad sometimes. Like, I don't know, man. But I do think Jared Goff's probably here to stay for the next couple years and stuff, but I do think Detroit will probably bring in a quarterback. I mean, I know they got Hendon Hooker. I'm not sure, like, that's going to be their answer, but I think they'll bring a quarterback eventually and slide him on in slowly. That's how I kind of see. Because Detroit, I'm just being honest, they're a little more buttoned up these days. I feel like they're a little more stable than usual. They're not like the Lions from the past. Like, I don't know. They just seem a little more like they got it going on a little bit. So, Jared Goff
kind of reminds me. He reminds me of like Matt Ryan later in his career, where it was like you had Kyle Shanahan there calling the offense, and Matt Ryan won the MVP. He was just great. And, you know, Detroit got Ben Johnson, who's going to be like, he's one of the best offense coordinators in the league, and he's going to probably leave in the offseason. Yeah. So that's probably what concerns me the most about Jared Goff is the fact that they're going to have to bring in another offensive mind. And, you know, Dan Campbell will be there. He'll have the team right. They'll be fine. They got a great offensive line, good rushing game. Their defense will get better. But, you know, it's going to depend a lot on that offense coordinator that they bring in because, like I said, he's most likely going to be gone.
Right.
So that's what concerns me a lot. And another thing that concerns me is if they go in the playoffs and lose in the first round and it's all Jared Goff's fault.
Right.
You know, like you said, they could bring in a quarterback. Might not be to take his job right away.
Right.
But his days in Detroit might be limited.
Right. So, I mean, I feel like me and you value Jared Goff, right? Like, he's good at times, but he is Jared Goff, and sometimes he'll fuck around and do some crazy.
Really lose you a game.
Yeah, big time. At 8, we have Baker Mayfield, who turned it on this year. I won a championship with Baker Mayfield as my starting quarterback this year, Kraft.
Hey, Baker's super consistent, man. Super consistent.
And really, if you just think about it, the hate that Baker Mayfield has gotten over the years has really kind of been unfair, in my opinion. If you just take it all in, just soak it all in. Like, he was in Cleveland, he had a good year. The next year, he played through injuries, and it was bad. I think it was Freddie Kitchens and all them was still in the building. I can't remember, though.
Did his career get ruined by the whole Cleveland situation, and them him playing injured and them treating him like shit and then kicking him out?
Yeah,
like they just kept Baker instead of signing Deshaun Watson and all that.
I think they might have made a mistake. I mean, I don't know. We'll just see how it plays out. But I think Baker Mayfield just gets a little bit of unfair treatment sometimes. Like, and then the next year he goes to Carolina. We see what Carolina is. It's just a straight shit show over there. Like, they're one of
why you can't judge Bryce Young that much. Exactly. Baker was terrible with the Panthers.
Yeah, and Baker was fine with the Rams in the back half of the year. You know, when he got released, he had some good games, which, allowed Tampa Bay the opportunity to go out and get a Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans had a great year this year.
So, not Godwin.
Not Godwin. That's a take that I was wrong about. I thought Godwin was going to have a good year and Mike Evans was going to fall off a little bit. So
he did not. Mike Evans did not fall off. We'll be talking about him later in the top 10 receivers. In the top 5 receivers.
Right. It'll definitely be interesting to see what Tampa Bay does if they can somehow bring back because I'm not sure what Mike Evans wants to do, but if they could bring back Baker and Mike Evans, that'd be cool. That'd be cool, for fantasy next year. But I don't know what Mike Evans is going to do. I have a feeling he's probably going to take off and go try to go somewhere competitive.
Would you sell Baker in Dynasty?
I don't. I think you. Yeah, I think
Kirk Cousins.
I'll take. I think I'll take Kirk Cousins.
Jordan Love, definitely. I
I'd
don't
take
know if
Jordan
you're getting
Love.
that done.
Yeah.
But
So sell high on
Jared
Baker if you
Goff,
can.
the guy
I
we
don't
just
know.
talked about.
I might roll with Baker. I'm just gonna be honest
Okay.
on that one. That one's tough.
Yeah.
I say sell high, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know what you can get for Baker Mayfield. I feel like when you say that name, people are like Baker. I mean, he was on in one quarterback leagues. He was on your waiver wire and shit. And here he is, quarterback 9.
Yeah. I mean, what
So
about? I know I wouldn't do it, but I feel like there is some people out there that really dislike Justin Fields and they think that he will get replaced in the offseason. Would you trade Baker and just go get Fields and see what happens?
I'd take Fields. Yeah, but the
I mean, I
upside is
would
just
too.
way.
I would too. But do you think there are people out there that would do that?
I'm not sure, man. I don't know.
Because
I don't know what to think
Fields
about.
got a very vast outcome of what could happen. Like he could be,
Yeah,
they could get Marvin Harrison, and he's like top 5, top 6, or
yeah,
whatever. He's definitely top 10 dynasty QB if they do that. But if they get another quarterback, then he's way down there at like ranked in the 20s. You know,
yeah. I think Justin Fields is gonna be fine, but yeah, you're right, man. We got to see some shit play out. Um, that shit's gonna. I don't know, man. All right, at 11 we got Tua Tagovailoa. Had a good year. Him and Tyreek was rolling with it. People, I think, people had a lot of questions about Tua if he was even gonna be able to stay healthy and shit. And I'm pretty sure he made it through the whole year. Kraft, man, is that true? He made it the whole year, right? Or did he miss a game?
yeah, he didn't miss any games. He was fine. And that shit last year, man, it just shows you uh how the NFL works because it was a primetime game. He got a concussion. Derek Carr had 2 concussions this year. He played the very next week, both
Right.
times. And
Yep.
nobody said nothing about Derek Carr getting 2 concussions in like back-to-back weeks. So
Yeah.
it's just a
I
storyline, man.
It was. I agree. I did say during the off season, I definitely wasn't buying into the narrative of Tua retiring that shit. I was like, dude, it's concussions. Like I know people take concussions super serious, but it's not. This dude's not gonna stop playing football because he got a couple concussions. I'm sorry, man. To me, that just don't even seem like real life.
I think Freiermuth has done had like 6 or 7 in his first 3
Yeah.
years. I mean, ain't nobody talking about Pat Freiermuth retiring.
Right. Um, 11. Russell Wilson had a little bounce back year, but he's got some shit going on in Denver right now.
He's getting cut.
He's getting cut. That's what it sounds like is happening. The motherfucker's getting cut. Uh, and I'll be honest, like if you can get Russell Wilson for cheap, I would love the Falcons to go get Russell Wilson. If you could just have him for cheap, he's about to get bought out. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of money. His contract was a big ass contract. He's going to get a lot of money. I feel like.
You don't want the Falcons to spend that kind of money on Russell Wilson.
If it was cheap though, if it was cheap, I don't want to
Like
pay
like
him
Denver
big
like
money.
Denver covers half of it or something. Like they just eat it.
Yeah,
They just eat the money and well, I guess they're cutting them, so I guess they're gonna have to eat it.
yeah. So I don't know. They're gonna have to buy him out. Is what it sounds like. So Russell Wilson had him a solid year. I mean, they got a little weird situation going over there with Sean Payton and stuff, and I don't know what to really even think about Russell Wilson. Sell high on him if you can. Uh, I'm
If you
not.
can.
I don't know if anybody will
Maybe
take it.
somebody didn't get the news.
Well, there's always people out there that. But fuck that shit. Let's move on to number 12 to C.J. Stroud real quick because this guy's the man, Craft man. Um, C.J. Stroud. I'm sitting here thinking about what my dynasty rankings are gonna look like, shit like that, and I'm just thinking, how high would I put CJ Stroud? Like, I would definitely keep him below, um, s- uh, the top dogs. I'll keep him below the top guys that we always talk about, like Allen and Hurts and who else? Patrick Mahomes and shit. But when we start talking about old Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, and I start wondering where the fuck I'm gonna put CJ Stroud. And when we was doing rookie drafts, I for sure had Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, then CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's the guy, the number one guy out of that class, no doubt. I think Houston's got it rolling going on. If you drafted CJ Stroud, you hit the money. I mean, I know in my home league, it's a one quarterback league, so quarterbacks are less valuable. But like my brother got C.J. Stroud in the third round, kept him on his taxi all year in a 1 year punt, and now look at him. I mean, now he's sitting there with like a top 7 dynasty quarterback out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I love me some Stroud. I ain't gonna deny. Stroud looked real good when he played against Georgia in that bowl game. But it's like I kept saying to you, Kraft man, like I saw Stroud play a lot at Ohio State, and I felt like he struggled a lot, so I wasn't always 100% bought in. 100% bought in right now. C.J. Stroud is the guy. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Houston's on the way up. It looks like.
Hell yeah. CJ Stroud, I mean, in the startup draft we did, I know for a fact that Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young went ahead of him. And that was just the case everywhere. But like you said, I'd have Stroud ranked above Herbert. Easy.
Yeah.
Burrow's a question mark. And then, I mean, he's right there in that like top 5 range. Yeah. Lamar, he's right there.
Yeah. So, CJ Stroud, I don't know. That's really not much to say about the guy. It's just this dude is smooth. He's playing good, and I like it. I think Houston's is just they got it rolling, and they're gonna keep building around it. Got them some weapons.
Yes.
So
we talk about the Packers receivers a lot. I mean, Houston's receivers too are young.
Yep.
Their main 2 are young, Tank Dell and Nico. And Tank Dell's going to be coming off a pretty major injury, but I think he's still going to be fine. It's not like, what did he do? He broke something in his lower leg, right? Fibula or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better than a torn ACL or something crazy.
Yeah, man, it's better that he broke that bone. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
just break your bone. Leave my ligaments alone.
Oh man, crap! You want to slide to these running backs real quick?
Yes, sir.
On to the next top 6. CMC. Number 2 was ETN. Number 3, Raheem Mostert. 4, Breece Hall. 5, Kyron Williams. 6, Rashad White. Tell you what, Christian McCaffrey had. All right, this is PPR right here. Christian McCaffrey had 391 points. The next
still not his best season.
Still not his best season. But the number 2 guy, Travis Etienne, had 268 points. We're talking about. Just think about. I mean, what the fuck? 130 fucking points to the next. I mean,
we play in 16 weeks or 17 weeks. That's about 8 points a week,
right?
More than the next guy. And that's crazy to think about. I said it wasn't his best season. He scored 471 points in a year. As good as he did this year, he scored like 80 more points another year. And he had another year, another 370-something points in another. I mean, he's just outrageously good.
You know how people talk about you want to get off a year early on these running backs. You riding them out, Kraft man, or what's the word?
You don't sell McCaffrey. You just hold him, and then when he's done, he's done. Just say thank you for what he did and move on.
Can't argue with that. Travis Etienne at number 2. I had a great year. I mean, I think he actually fell off. I know.
Big
let me
time
just look a little quick.
in the back half.
Fell off in the back half, and he was real good at the front half, and he had a lot of touchdowns in the front half. I still think ETN is good. All that Tank Bigsby talk, I think people are a little scared of him, of ETN a little bit, but I wouldn't really be scared of him. I'd want ETN on my team next year. I think he's probably a top 5, 6 dynasty type running back.
Where'd you have him in your initial rankings with your running backs?
Top 10. I was higher on ETN than most, or I ain't gonna say most, but I was definitely in on ETN. Clemson guy, I ain't gonna sort him in my rankings. Come on now, y'all, you know how it is.
Yeah, obviously. I want to say I had him in the teens somewhere, but just great year, and he's just one of the running backs that just gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage over and over again, and then breaks a 60-yard touchdown run. I mean, he's Saquon Barkley is what he is. He's really he's Saquon Barkley in his early career.
And I think it'll get a little bit better for him next year because I think the Jacksonville, T-Law banged up a lot. They had some injuries. Christian Kirk was out.
Better than RB2?
Yeah, I think it could get better. I'm just being honest because I think
Just
the
more
offense was
points.
a little stale this year. I think Jacksonville struggled a lot offensively. Um,
Especially in that
so
back half. I mean, it wasn't all ETN. They had some tougher
right.
matchups, but injuries plus the tough matchups just made it tough to find some run room. And he definitely had a better first half of the year than the second half. But I wouldn't
Yeah.
worry about ETN at all. How old is he? 24? Yeah,
Let me
24
just
years
look real
old.
quick. 24. So yep. All right. So Raheem Mostert, he was your running back 3, and I'm gonna be real. You needed to win the championship if you had Raheem Mostert on your team because that man was going off this year, 267 points, and you're not gonna be. The thing is, it's like it was like one of those things. I know my guy Jordan Harris, Raheem Mostert. He had a young team, but then randomly had these older guys hitting, like Raheem Mostert, Adam Thielen. So this dude's competing for a championship out of nowhere, and I told him, I said, you can either try to go win it with Raheem Mostert. Your sell window is over with after this. Like you're not gonna be able to sell Raheem Mostert. It's way these running backs are. Like you can sell them for a couple first, and then next thing you know, you can't even get a second for their ass. So that's how I feel about his dynasty value right now. Is he'll be okay. I think the Miami will probably bring him back next year, but you know he had a great year though. 31 years
I
old
still
too. So
I still think you could sell him. I mean, what would you pay for Raheem Mostert?
I'd pay a second for him. I wouldn't pay
No,
a
no
first.
late. Definitely not a late first.
No, can't do it. Not for an old running
Yeah,
back.
yeah, I agree. I agree
So
though, but I could definitely see another good year, like one more good year, not 2 or 3, but I could see one more good year.
uh
Maybe not this good, but
right.
he's a touchdown leader, right? Running
Uh,
backs.
I think so. I think that is the truth. Um he had a bunch.
I think he had
Four let's see.
18.
Yeah, he did have a lot of touchdowns. Damn. So yep, they had it rolling. Craft man, Brees Hall. Dynasty or running back 1 for you?
Yep. He was running back 1 last year. He's gonna be running back 1 this year. It's just that Aaron Rodgers injury screwed everybody. Screwed Garrett Wilson. Screwed Brees Hall.
Yep.
But obviously, Brees Hall's good as shit. Like Bijan's good as hell, and people will argue that till the day they die. But Brees Hall is just as good as Bijan talent wise,
Yeah.
and I like the coaching staff a little bit better with the Jets. I just think they got their season got derailed right at the beginning.
And he
Still
was the
RB4 though, crazy.
yeah, RB4, and it was such a shit show. That offense was so bad this year with Zach Wilson and them not making adjustments over there in New York. Just think, man, they should have. There is no excuse for them not bringing Joe Flacco in. To be honest, I mean,
No
I don't
excuse.
know,
No
but
excuse.
yeah,
And that's one thing that I'm gonna be paying attention to next year is not just Aaron Rodgers coming back, but who do they bring in to back up Aaron Rodgers?
yeah,
You know, what do they do in the draft? Because I'm pretty sure their first round pick is going to be a offensive lineman because their offensive line is atrocious,
so bad, so
so
bad.
bad. Probably I don't know what PFF's going to have them ranked, but it's got to be dead last.
No O
So they're going to
line.
have to load up offensive line in the draft, which they should, and I think they will,
Yep,
and just bring Aaron Rodgers back. And Devontae Adams will probably come. Bakhtiari will come. New York Packers, man.
yep. Oh man, so yep, Brees Hall, good year. 5, Kyron Williams. Now that comes out of nowhere, man. And I'm not selling Kyron Williams. I wouldn't even consider it. Um, when we looked at it, he's number 5 on the year, but when you do season averages, he was number 2 with points per game. Um,
Yeah, I
Kyron
think he's
Williams
still
is the
the number
man.
2 rushing leader on the year too, as far as yards
Yeah.
go. Still missing 4 games, but he did run a 4.640 though, or 4.740 though, Matt. So he must
Oh
be
man.
terrible, right?
I mean, this motherfucker has games of like, I mean, he's got a game of 38 points. I mean, 17, 28, 27, 21. Then he was out. comes back 38, 20, 14, 24, 16, 30. Man, Kyron Williams is the man. I ain't gonna lie. You better hold on to that. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there talking about you should sell high, and I'm just not on the boat with that one. I think the Rams. I've said it. I've said this once. I've said this a lot. The Rams, they're a little bit different. They're going to run their franchise a little bit different than these other franchises are going to run it. Like They definitely don't give a fuck that Kyron and Puka were lower in the draft. They're going to go out there and they're going to throw these guys out there and they're going to go win football games.
Yeah, don't make the same mistake I did with Pacheco. I mean, production is production.
Right.
And they don't have enough draft capital to. It would be the dumbest decision of them to draft a running back early in the draft. I mean, they might go out there and pick them a six round running back, but another Zach Evans or something.
Yeah.
But it's Kyron. He'll be their running back for the future, no doubt.
Rachaad White, number 6.
Opportunity.
Hey, that opportunity's there. He gets a lot of the passing work, gets all the goal line work. I mean, what do we? Here is what I'm gonna say about Rachaad White. If they're bringing back Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, you just keep running it back with Rachaad White. But if things are about to be changing over there in Tampa Bay like that, I don't know. I think this is a great time to sell high on Rachaad White. I'm just being honest. You could probably get a haul for him this year. Right here, we got him as the RB6.
What would you sell him for?
I
mean, what would? I mean, you'd have to. I mean, it had to be an early first to go get Rachaad White.
Would you do it for James Cook in the first? Could you get too much?
Where's the first?
In the first?
Where's the first? I think I would. Though. Yeah, I would. Either one of them guys. I think. I mean, as long as it's like not dead, the last pick in the first round, I think that's a fair trade.
Could you?
I wouldn't mind holding on to Rachaad White, seeing where it goes.
Would you trade Rachaad White for Kenneth Walker if you could get it done?
Oh man, that one. Can I pass? Can I pass on that?
It's a tough one, man. I'm telling you, it's a tough one. I think I might. I don't know, man. That one is tough. I ain't gonna lie.
Talents with Kenneth Walker, opportunities. Give me Rachaad White. PPR, full PPR. Rachaad White.
So at 7, we got Joe Mixon. 8, Jahmyr Gibbs. 9, Alvin Kamara. 10, Derrick Henry. 11, James Cook, and 12, Bijan. So Joe Mixon, your guy, had a good year this year. Bounced back. I thought he was showing some decline last year. This year, right back on it. Back to
sell his ass.
Sell his ass. In fact, a lot of names that we're about to bring up right here, I'm gonna say sell to just about all of them. Because Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, I'm selling both of them if you can. I don't even know really if you can. But yeah, Joe Mixon.
About running backs, they can just have a great year, and then people just click on the name and see their age and what their contract looks like, and they're like, "Nah, I'll pass." But as Joe Mixon, I think he is back with Cincinnati next year. I'm not saying like his contract is saying that he's going to be back. I'm just predicting that he's going to be back.
I think I agree with that, but what's his name? You know, me and you liked Chase Brown when we was studying those rookies last year. He had some
look good.
Had some good looking games this year or whatever with those guys. So Jahmyr Gibbs, number 8. And everybody was freaking out at the beginning of the year about this guy. They were, they brought him in slow and stuff like that. But here he is. He had a great year at the, rookie year. He finished as the RB8. He first started off the year. He's got 8 points, 12 points, 9. And then
he missed 2 games, and it was like,
bang.
Let's go.
About 27 versus Baltimore, 29 Las Vegas, 26 against Los Angeles. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is to the moon. Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, I think there might be a debate to rank Jahmyr Gibbs higher than Bijan. What you think? I still got Bijan higher, but I think there's a debate.
I still get Bijan higher just because of the red zone, like the goal line work, which Jahmyr Gibbs was getting a little bit more. But you got to expect David Montgomery to still be a massive part of the offense. which is fine for Jameer. If you're a Jameer Gibbs owner, it's not a make or break thing. But when you're facing Jameer Gibbs, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, every single touch he gets, it's like, you tackle his ass, please. Like, because he's Devon Achane is just gone.
Yeah.
Any touch he gets, he's got the potential of just taking it. And I don't know what his yards per carry is. I can't see that yet, but it's got to be like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
5.4.
I think they got it rolling on.
5.4 yards per carry. My bad. Still,
it's funny because Jameer Gibbs' very first game of the year. He did have a chance to have a wide open touchdown, but he fell. I mean, could have looked a little bit different even at the beginning of the year. So next year, Jameer Gibbs redraft. Where does he go? First round, second round? What you think?
Second round.
Yep, I'm with you. At number 9, we got Alvin Kamara, and to me, Alvin Kamara. He was getting a lot of the pass work this year. Let me just. He has a game with 13 receptions, 7 receptions, 12 receptions. Hardly any games with less than 4 receptions. So he was getting a lot of the passing work. I don't know what the word is on Alvin Kamara. To me, I was thinking this is the last year of his deal or whatever, but I can't remember if that's even true or not. But I would sell high on Kamara. And the next guy that we're going to talk about, Derrick Henry, I'd sell high on him if I could. So,
yeah.
it almost might be easier
Those
to
are
sell
easy, though,
Kamara.
but, like, what can you get, though? I mean, would you sell them for a second? Either one of them for a second?
I would say yes, but let me ask you this. If you're a contender and you're going to win a championship or let's just say you have like the 111 or a 112, would you go throw that out there for a Derrick Henry or an Alvin Kamara?
Probably not.
You don't think so?
Nah,
I guess it
wouldn't.
depends too, because they're both of them have uncertainty of even where they're going to be playing football next year, especially Derrick Henry.
And where are they going to finish as far as RB finishes next year? Are they going to be? I think this is probably the highest they're going to get. So if you send a late first out, you're probably getting a mid RB2 at the most. So you're not really selling them. I mean, you're not really getting a bona fide. I still think like Raheem Mostert could finish higher than both of them guys next year, just next year.
Yeah, I agree. So
and we were saying there's no way we're selling the 111 for Raheem Mostert. We said mid to late second. So I could definitely see Mostert outperforming both of them guys. So I probably wouldn't do it.
All right. So Derrick Henry, not too much to say. I do think this when Tennessee, they were just losing a lot of games. Yeah, so Derrick Henry wasn't doing good in those games. But if they're like competing and winning games, Derrick Henry's going to be better. So maybe if Derrick Henry goes to a team where he's competing, where they're actually doing something, I think maybe Derrick Henry could be pretty solid next year.
Yeah.
But at number 11, we got James Cook, and James Cook's really been a guy that I've been kind of wrong on. I think Buffalo's just kind of switching things up a little bit. I think they're kind of committing to the run a little bit more. So James Cook, what you think about him? I would hold on to him for now. I wouldn't think about selling him right now, to be honest. I think I would just hold and roll with him for a couple years and see how it goes.
Oh yeah, James Cook's definitely a hold. I wouldn't be selling him neither. So he's super easy. I mean, he got used a lot more than I expected this year. The goal line work still wasn't really going his way, but ever since they changed offense coordinators, James Cook's been a monster. So
right. And then we got Bijan, and all I can say is Arthur, get this motherfucker the ball, bro. Quit giving Cordell Patterson 2 or 3 carries. This is the joke that I like to tell, Kraft. I like to tell because a lot of us are Falcons fans around here. I just laugh at Arthur because I don't even call him Arthur Smith. I call him Arthur. I just laugh at Arthur because I think it's hilarious that what you call it, that we got all these weapons, and then Arthur wants to do an end around with Jonnu Smith. Like that shit makes no motherfucking sense. Like I just die laughing. Bijan, nothing to worry about. I think hopefully he gets a head
No.
coaching change. Personally,
I mean, you drafted him in a redraft league in like the back of the first. It's probably like the RB5, and he finishes at RB10. Like,
right.
or what did you say, RB12? So
Yep.
he didn't have the year that you were expecting. He wasn't like the Christian McCaffrey getting everything, all the goal line work. But for his rookie year, I think he did what anybody could have expected. I mean, you wanted the upside, but you didn't get it. But it was still fine. He looked great on the field. There's no doubts that Bijan is the future running back for the Falcons. They will start using him right. It's just, even if Arthur Smith is the head coach, he's gonna use Bijan more and more.
Yep. You would
Got
think.
to.
Well, all right, Craft Man. That goes through our quarterbacks and running backs of the leaders. And I think next episode we'll hit these wide receivers and tight ends, because I do want to start talking about tight ends this next year, Craft Man. I ain't going to be like, fuck these tight ends as much. So, Craft Man, anything to say before we bounce on out of here, man?
No, man. We'll hit it on the next episode with these receivers and tight ends, and then we'll be getting into the off season and start talking about some of these busts that hit. I mean, that screwed your team over this year, and we're gonna talk about if they're done for good or if they gonna pick it up.
So, all right, then. I appreciate everybody. Thanks for listening to the podcast, but we out.
Peace.